The next section we will cover looks at professional behaviors. Our survey indicated that a few fieldwork educators encountered issues like students violating HIPAA guidelines, inappropriately using their cell phone in fieldwork, and wearing improper attire. All of these issues are a part of professional behaviors, and from these results, it is evident that this is a very important area that needs to be addressed before entering into fieldwork. During this presentation, we will talk about topics ranging from dress, timeliness, and meeting deadlines, to confidentiality, the use of social media, not taking fieldwork placement seriously, and appropriately handling criticism. It is possible that generational differences may create challenges like the ones previously mentioned on the last slide. According to the University of Iowa School of Social Work, National Resource Center for Family-Centered Practice, the millennial generation, which are individuals who were born between 1981 and 2000, are considered the youngest generation. This cohort is a very technology or media-driven society because they have always lived in a world in which computers existed. They are known to need more structure, supervision, and direction, and they prefer a clear picture of expectations, and they want to be involved in the decision making. According to the West Midland Family Center, this generation constantly wants continuous feedback. However, they tend to respond poorly to those who act in an authoritarian manner or expect to be respected due to higher rank alone. When it comes to terms of communication, they prefer positive, respectful, motivational, electronic contact. It is important to note that they use email as one of their main tools. Each generation seems to have their own particular set of distinct characteristics, and for the millennial generation, they seem to crave positive feedback and hold technology to be of great value. Since there are so many differences between generations, it may also influence how they each view professional behaviors. Dilemmas may occur when generations do not see eye to eye and agree on what is and/or is not considered professional. Since technology is a huge part of this generation, it can help to lead us into a discussion about HIPAA violations. From our survey, a few fieldwork educators had an experience in which their student violated HIPAA. Therefore, we feel it is important to review HIPAA guidelines with students to ensure that violations do not occur. The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act was enacted by Congress in 1996. HIPAA protects all communication related to client care, whether it is written, spoken, or electronic. These guidelines legally enforce the protection of confidential information at all stages of healthcare delivery. Like I mentioned before, it is important that fieldwork educators review these guidelines with their students to ensure that they comply with them and the policies set at their specific site. During fieldwork, students will have access to medical records and will need to complete assignments for class, whether it be a case study, evaluation, treatment plan, occupational analysis, etc. During these assignments, the student cannot disclose any information regarding a patient's name, location, dates, telephone numbers, fax numbers, email addresses, social security numbers, account numbers, certificate and/or license numbers, vehicle identification numbers and license plate numbers, device identifiers and their serial numbers, Web Universal Resource Locators (URLs), Internet Protocol address numbers, biometric identifiers including finger and voice prints, full-face photographic images, and any comparable images, and any other unique identifying number, characteristic, or code. When students write a written report, however, they are allowed to report the age of an individual as long as they are not over the age of 90, their race, ethnicity, marital status, and codes, as long as they don't lead to a person's social security number, date of birth, phone number, etc. If a violation occurs, the school and fieldwork site will want to consider developing an action plan to address the issue. The severity of the violation will depend on what happens to the student at the program and at the facility. The school and site should work together to create this plan to ensure that everyone is on the same page. The HIPAA guidelines for fieldwork can be accessed through the American Occupational Therapy Association website and is attached to this module. Like we have already mentioned, media or technology has become a huge asset and advancement in this generation. Over the past several years, social media activity on the internet has been increasingly popular. Websites and devices like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and iPhones and iPads have made it easy to get involved with social networking. Online social networking is defined as a sharing of user-generated information and media with friends, families, professional colleagues, and strangers via designated websites. As fieldwork educators, it is important to advise students to steer clear of posting anything online that can lead to negative circumstances. Smith states that what you choose to share with your friends and family may not be appropriate to share with your coworkers. Students need to keep in mind that employers, professors, and fieldwork educators might be able to see what they are posting. Unprofessional and/or unethical postings can cause negative impacts and could lead to possible elimination from a program. Students need to avoid posting negative information regarding their program, fieldwork site, clients, professors, etc. Fieldwork educators should strive to be good role models and help guide their students down the right path and make sure they are aware of all possible circumstances. Ethical issues should be discussed from the very beginning to help avoid any violations and negative outcomes. Currently, the University of Toledo Occupational Therapy Program has a policy that addresses the specific issue in relation to students' personal use of social networking sites while in the program and completing fieldwork. Implementation of a policy such as this one at your facility could prove to be very beneficial while supervising new Level 2 fieldwork students from any school. A contract of an agreement acknowledging review of the policy can be signed by the student, the fieldwork educator, and supervisor at the facility. Now let's take some time to review 3 tips to follow when social networking that you can share with your students. Tip number 1, control your privacy. Facebook, which already had extensive privacy settings, including making your profile private and unlisted, recently modified its settings for even more user control. Privacy settings help protect your personal information, but know that privacy settings are not absolute, and once information makes it to the internet, it will most likely be permanent. Tip number 2, keep it simple. Social networking sites are great for keeping in touch and sharing with others, but are probably not the best place to talk in-depth politics or air work grievances. Tip number 3, choose your network. You pick who are your friends and followers. Some relationships, including those with supervisors, patients, and fieldwork students, may be better left to sites geared specifically towards professionals, like LinkedIn for students and colleagues, and CaringBridge, which is used with patients. Along with addressing issues like online social networking, it is equally important to talk to students about dressing appropriately, arriving on time, meeting deadlines, maintaining confidentiality, taking fieldwork seriously, and appropriately handling criticism. Educational institutions often address this very heavily in the curriculum. However, it is critical to continue to stress this from the very beginning of fieldwork. Many educational programs advise students about what is and what is not appropriate to wear in fieldwork. However, many clinical sites have more extensive dress code policies that ensure their compliance with the accrediting body regulations. The following are basic guidelines that students should follow. Makeup should not be excessive. Facial hair should be neat and well groomed. Fragrances should be avoided. Personal hygiene should be taken care of. Body piercings are discouraged. Tattoos need to be covered. Clothing should not be revealing. Shoes need to be supportive and professional. And fingernails should be clean. In addition to dress, It is important to communicate with students about the expectations for them in regards to other professional behaviors such as timeliness and deadlines. For example, it is important to remind students that arriving late to the fieldwork site can disrupt other work schedules and change the delivery of client services. Students are now an important part of an interconnected system, and what they do makes a difference to clients and colleagues. Being able to recognize this impact is one of the responsibilities of a professional. It may be beneficial to encourage the student to plan to arrive at least 15 to 20 minutes early each day in order to give them extra time secondary to unexpected traffic and to give them an opportunity to have some unrushed time at the beginning of the day to prepare for upcoming clients and the morning routine. It may seem unnecessary to have discussions about professional behaviors like these, and that displaying professional behaviors would be common sense for students on fieldwork. But having discussions with students about professionalism can be instrumental for a successful fieldwork. It is through actions that professionalism is demonstrated. For example, someone can claim they deeply care about their clients and may show their desire to help them reach their fullest potential, but a lack of attention to everyday behaviors can derail even the highest aspirations. For example, lacking attention to everyday behaviors, such as meeting the deadline for report submission, can lead to payment being denied for future sessions for the client. Examples like this show how important professional behaviors are and how significantly they can impact clients. Let's now look at and consider another case study. Fred is a 23-year-old occupational therapy student, and he is located at a skilled nursing facility for his Level 2 fieldwork. Fred has been having a difficult time using all of the allotted time for patient treatment sessions, and he has not been keeping up with documentation. Due to this, his fieldwork educator, Stacy, does not feel like she can leave him alone during any treatment sessions, and she constantly has to remind him about documentation. She has to make sure he sits down at the end of each day to complete it. Stacy has been noticing Fred pull up Facebook on his phone about 5 times in the course of a day. One day, Fred was having a hard time and logged into his Facebook and started to vent on his page. He wrote, "Frustrating day on Facebook. My supervisor is constantly on my back and she doesn't trust me with patients. She's not my favorite person right now. Can't wait until my last day. I don't think I want to work with older adults anyway. Boring and frustrating. Counting down until my last day, but at least only 2 hours left in this day. Bring on the weekend." The following day, one of Stacy's coworkers saw Fred's post. Stacy requested to meet with him right away. What were the ethical issues and/or difficult student challenge? And what do you think the fieldwork educator should do in this type of situation? Fred was not displaying professional behavior. He was speaking negatively about the facility and his fieldwork educator. This has not only made himself look bad, but it may have weakened the facility's reputation in the community. People reading this post will most likely question his professionalism and whether or not he is capable of changing his ways. Due to this post, Fred happened to violate a few principles in the Occupational Therapy Code of Ethics. His behavior violated Principle 5, Procedural Justice, where it states that OTs have a legal responsibility to adhere to legal regulations regarding local, state, federal, international laws, and AOTA documents. He also violated Principle 7, Fidelity, which states that occupational therapy personnel shall treat colleagues and other professionals with respect, fairness, and integrity. So, what should Stacy do in this situation? She should discuss this situation with Fred's academic fieldwork coordinator to address the specific violations and lack of professionalism that he has been displaying. Stacy may also want to review social networking with Fred and explain to him why it is important to steer clear of posting anything online that can lead to negative impacts and possible elimination from a program. If, after discussion with the student, the administration at the site feels comfortable allowing the student to stay, given a written agreement, perhaps the best solution may be to develop a learning contract that is reviewed with the student that describes the challenges he is having and what measures will be taken to assure the behavior does not occur again.